Today, we're going to install MySQL Community Edition on Windows 11. By the end of this video, you'll have MySQL up and running and test everything out by running CRUD commands against a new test database. Let's get started. Open your browser and search for MySQL Download, and let's select the MySQL Downloads link. We have to scroll down a bit to get to the free Community Edition, which is what we want. There are lots of choices here. We want the MySQL Community Server. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more SQL installation videos for these other tools. You might be tempted by the MySQL installer for Windows at the bottom, but that's for an older version of MySQL and it's not what we want. Over on the Community Server download page, let's click the drop-down menu. Version 9, Innovation, will have all the latest features. If that's what you want, great, download that. We'll install version 8.4.1 LTS or long-term support, which is more stable and will have regular patches. Before we download, let's make a copy of the MD5 checksum value. We'll want to verify our download before we use it. Now let's click the download button. On the next page, no need to set up an account or log in, just click No Thanks at the bottom of the page. It takes just a moment to download the file. The download is done. Let's open a PowerShell window and cd into the downloads directory. We'll run dir and we see our file is there. Before installing, let's verify the integrity of our download file with the MD5 hash we copied. In the PowerShell window, type get file hash MySQL 8.4.1 winx64.msi-a md5.hash -eq, and then in quotes, paste in the value we copied from the download page. It's not case sensitive, so don't worry about that. We get back a value of true, meaning the hash value we copied matches the hash value computed for the file we downloaded. So we're good to proceed with the installation. From the command line, let's run the MSI file. On the splash screen, click Next. Accept the license terms and click Next. We'll select Typical and click Install. We get a user account control window. We can see the verified publisher is Oracle America. Let's see more details and look at the publisher certificate. It's from DigiCert, issued by Oracle, and the date range is valid. It all looks good, so let's click OK, and then Yes. Let's make sure the MySQL configurator box is checked and click Finish. We get another account control dialog. We see it's coming from Oracle. Let's see the details and the certificate. Oracle, DigiCert, dates are good. Let's click OK, and then Yes. The dialog is hiding behind our PowerShell window. Let's bring it to the front and click Next. We'll mostly take the defaults here. The data directory location is fine, so click Next. The config type is Development Computer, which is fine for our purposes, and the ports are fine. If you happen to be using these ports for something else on your machine, now's a great time to change them for your MySQL installation. Let's take the defaults and click Next. Here we're prompted for the root password for the database. Even though it's a dev box, I suggest you get in the habit of creating strong passwords. I'll type it twice. Nice, the strength meter says it's strong. You can also create additional accounts here if you'd like. We'll skip that for now and click Next. Our database will run as a Windows service. Click Next. And we'll give Update the server file permissions with the default value. And click Next. We could add a test database to our instance here if we like. We'll skip that for now, since we'll be creating our own test database, and click Next. Finally, we're done with the configuration settings. Let's click Execute to commit the changes. Green check marks all the way down. We see the configuration was successful message, so all is good. Let's click Next, and finally Finish. At this point, we've installed MySQL. Let's test our instance and make sure everything is working as we'd expect. We'll open a File Explorer window and go to C, Program Files, MySQL, MySQL Server 8.4, bin, and then click and open this directory in a terminal. The database is running in the background. Let's start the MySQL command line tool for accessing the database with the -u option and specify the user root and then add -p. We're prompted for the password we set up when we ran the configuration tool earlier. Let's create a test database and then try all the CRUD commands, create, read, update, and delete on that database. With the Show Databases command, we can see all the databases that exist now. Let's create our own unique database by entering Create Database Clash. We're going to maintain player information for my favorite game, Clash of Clans. So do you play? What's your favorite attack strategy? Let me know in the comments. Let's select the Clash database for use by entering the command use Clash. And let's create a table to work our CRUD magic on. Create table players. ID will be an integer and our primary key. Auto increment will update the value for each row we insert. Name will be our char field and contain our Clash handle. It's not null. And we'll have a score, which is an integer, and it will default to 0. First up in CRUD is C, create. To do that, we'll insert a row. Insert into players a name and a score. My Clash handle is lucky, and my initial score will be 1,000. Now for the R in CRUD, read. To do that, we'll run the command select star from players. The row we just entered is the only one. Notice the ID is 1. This is the primary key value that was assigned by MySQL. Now for the U in CRUD, update. To do that, we'll run the update command and set the score to 5,000 where the ID is 1. This will make sure only my row is updated since that's the unique ID for the row. And let's recall select and run that again to check if it changed. And it did. Finally, the D in CRUD, delete. Let's run the delete command and delete the row where the ID is 1. Once again, this delete will only impact my unique row and no others. And let's run select once again to check it. All the data is gone now. Let's clean up this database by running drop database clash. And if we show databases again, we see it's gone. And finally, let's exit MySQL. This has been installing MySQL on Windows 11, along with the creation and use of CRUD commands on a custom database. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and remember to always begin secure.